Hello everybody and welcome back on the YouTube video. In this video, I will teach you how you can create your own multi-user chat application using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. It's going to be a very simple chat app, but it will be very impressive. So you should have a little bit of understanding on how HTML, CSS and JavaScript works, but don't worry, you don't need to be very good at it. You should just be having a very fundamental understanding at what HTML is. So just learn some basic HTML and then you'll be able to follow along and make this chat app. So I've gone ahead and created this folder called chat app tutorial. And actually, I'm sorry, I just need to mention one last thing. Just go ahead and you need to install Node.js for this because we're actually going to be coding the server. We are not going to be using any pre-made server. Download any one of these and then what you need to do is just go to your command prompt and cd to your directory and then like where your folder is and just type about npm i socket.io and npm i-g node. Just do these two things. Now once you do that you should but once you install socket.io, go to your command prompt only. I would recommend you use a Visual Studio Code for this. Just type out npm in it. Just do that and it will just give you some very basic things like name your node server and just enter the things like all of that. Just do that. Let me actually do it for you. So just type out npm in it and package name like jada, then sorry you are so you can just call it like chat app. I'm sorry, I first need to cd to the directory. I forgot to do that. We'll see. I can just go. Let me just go to cd and node server. So you should have this thing. Just put it inside the node server folder. So I've created some folders called CSS, JS, node server, and you should have these things coming together when you do an npm install socket.io. So just go to npm init and then you need to just call any of the package name, version. You just need to don't do anything over here, and for you it should probably ask your author. uh, just click write in your name. So let me actually get started. So I will just call it HTML. And one last thing, I'm sorry I'm interrupting myself. Go to your node server and then just make this like index.js. Just that's all. Head title. So this is just some basic boilerplate code. I'm going to call my chat app forums. So just do that, Control S, and I'm just gonna do the body tag. All of the styling will be CSS. So yeah, just go to I just opened up two like instances. Let me just open one, then we'll make the second one. You can see it says forums. So now let's just make a heading. So I'm just gonna make a center tag, and inside I'll make a h1 tag. I'm just gonna yeah nothing. And I'll just call it forums. Save it up and reload the page. You can see it says forums. You can make it a bit bold, underline it. I'm not gonna be going like on and on with the styling part of it. And now let's just make a div. So this will be like the big box where we can actually put in messages. So I'm just gonna go div dot container. So I'm not sure why it says contains container. And inside there is going to be like this will not be anything inside this, but we need to make another div. So I'm just gonna go div dot send. Why didn't that do that for me? We save this and again do it. So div dot send. There we go. And over here inside we will be making a form. So let's go form and I will give it a action. So basically it just is just basic HTML. So action just adds like an event kind of thing to form. And I will give it an ID of send hyphen container. Send container and just hit enter. Inside I'll be placing a input and I'll just give it a type. So type is equals to a text. Oh my god, why is that happening? Text. Name is going to be message INP. I believe that's good. Message INP, and the ID is equals to message INP. Good. So now I'll make a button. I'll give it a class of btn, and text will be just like send message. So send the page, and you should see right now it's pretty kind of bad, but don't worry, we are gonna be making this very easy. So that's it for the front end. We are not gonna be using any high-end front end things. So yeah, that's literally all you need to do for front end. So let's just go to the CSS and let's just write some styling. So I'm not going to be creating any animations right now. So now I'm just gonna go dot container. Remember we created that container thing. So dot container and do this. Inside I'm just going to type out max width as 955 pixels. I will give it a border. So border will just make it like kind of have a little border to it. I really like that border. So I'll just make it 2 pixels and I'll give it a black color. So it will just be solid black. Then I will want to give it like a border radius. So the border radius will make it like curved. So I will add a border hyphen radius. So the border radius can be anything. I'll just make it a bit curvy, so 10 pixels. I will give it a overflow. So the overflow basically uh, why uh, basically means that if there are a ton of messages, like the thing will go sliding down, and auto is basically if we do not add this, then it will just go sliding, even like it will we will have that slider thing even if there are no messages. So that's why we need to add this. So when the messages cross a certain limit, only then we can actually slide it. So I will give it a padding of 33 pixels. I will give it a margins. I'll just go margin, and I want to give it a bottom margin. You can give it a top, whatever. I'm just going to go 23 pixels, and I want to give it a only margin of auto. And what else do you want to give it? I just want to give it a height of. I'm just gonna go with VHOS or VH. So I will give it a height. So that's what I feel like we only need to give it. Yeah, I feel like that's all. So let me just save it up and go over here. Reload the page. And nothing is popping now. Let me have a look just in case I've done anything incorrectly. Border, radius, padding, pixels, 3, um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, there we go. We have a look in the HTML container. I'm just gonna do something over here. I'm just gonna copy it and I'm just gonna go here to the CSS and I'm simply just gonna paste it. Alright, I know why nothing happened. That was pretty silly of me. I forgot to link up the CSS file. That's pretty stupid. Alright, let me link up my CSS. It's gonna be a link rel is equals to style sheet, and I will give it a href of css slash style of css. Control S, head over here, refresh the page, and there we go. We get this cool little container kind of thing, and this is the place where all of the messages will be coming. You can customize this however you want. It's just that I want it to be like this. Alright, so that's it for the styling of the container. Now let's actually style the message. So we're not going to be using anything like a message right now, but we are going to be using it later on. So I'm just going to type in message, and we need to go to background color. Background color, I'm just going to make it gray, but I'm just going to make it kind of light. So now I will need to give it a width 25%, and I will give it a padding of around 30 pixels. I will give it a margin of 17 pixels and a width kind of margin of 2 pixels. We like the margin, the margin is basically just as like it's not visible, but it's like makes a margin according to that. But you can just give it any margin. Again, I just want to add these borders. It just makes the entire app look neat. So I just go with just a really less kind of border, so just 2 pixels. And I'm a big fan of this the black thing. So again, yeah, border hyphen radius. This time I'm not gonna give it really big border radius, just 10 pixels, and I feel like that's all we need. Just go less. Obviously nothing's gonna get showed up right now because we don't have any messages. So that's all for the message. So now let's just style this form that we have over here. So it was pretty good because we added this thing inside of a form. So that's a very good thing because we can just style the form and this will become relative to the entire form that we make. So that's something I personally think of it is neat. So it just makes everything really good, because otherwise we would need to style the input, then style the button, and that will just add like a ton of different complexity to the thing. So now I'm just gonna style the send hyphen contain. No, that's not what I needed. This one. So the send container is what the form was. If you know that, we will have a display of order. This is just very basic CSS, so I'm not really going to explain you that much. Margin, I explained you. Auto. I want it to be like text. I want it to text align. So text align. Why did I add a colon over there? I don't know. So text hyphen align. Just make it centered. Give it a max hyphen width of I'm just gonna go 985, not that much, 985, and width of 100%. Control S, reload the page, nothing will happen because I still need to style the message input. Like right now, it just made it a bit better. We still need to obviously style the message input, but it just will make this like relative to both of them, and that's really what makes it good. But now I just want to style the left and the right. So you do not, obviously you might be a bit confused. We did not define anything like left or anything like that. Well, we want the messages we send to appear in the right and the messages that we receive at the left. So that's something pretty important and what we want. So that's it. I'm just going to style this and then we will add it further when we get into the code. And what we will do is we will like use some JS for that. So we will get into this later on, like one or two of the styling things. So now let's just style this and contain. I'm just gonna copy that name because I feel like if I would have like misspelled anything, so it will stay consistent. Alright, there we go. Display of block, and I will actually I've already done this, so I don't know why am I doing it again. Let me, I don't know why I made a dot. I made to make a hashtag. Let me just see, reload the page, and there we go. It's at the center. Now, obviously, it looks pretty horrible right now because there is like the entry is so small, so it's not the best thing looking right now. Don't worry, we will style it. Now, that's what we are going to be styling right now. The entry. So I'm just going to go hashtag message imp. I will give it a width. I'm gonna go in percentage because I feel like if we go in percentage, it's a bit more accurate for me. I'll give it a border of 2 pixels, and I'm just gonna make it black, so solid black. Border radius, again that's optional. All of the styling I'm doing, like most of the styling I'm doing, is optional. Some is like you should do that because otherwise the like some of the it's pretty important, some of the styling, but most of the styling that I'm doing is pretty optional and like you don't just need to do a lot of things. Alright, the height. So height is going to be in pixels 24. And I think that's all. Control S. Reload the page. There we go. Get this message input ready. Let's style the button now. So I'm just gonna go .btn. I don't know what's happening today. I was pressing the shift key, but I don't know why it did not get that. Give it a cursor of pointer. Now that's a pretty cool thing because like right now currently if like go on my BTN, you can see the cursor is the same thing. But now my cursor will become that. I don't know why that did not pick that up. Okay, I forgot to save this thing. So if I reload this, you can see the cursor now turns to this hand. I know that's like pretty miscellaneous, it does not really stand out that much, but I think it just adds a nice little touch to the button. I get a border 2 pixels solid black. I want to get a border radius 6 pixels. I will get a height of 24 pixels. I think 24 pixels is good. And yeah, I feel like we don't need anything else now. Let me just reload the page. I feel like it's looking a bit ugly. Let's give it a background also. My favorite, I'm just gonna go with blue because I really like that color. So I'm just gonna go blue. Let me just give it the shade over here, that much. Control S and reload the page. There we go. Alright, there. So I'm not gonna do any styling now. That's all for the styling. Let's move to the, I would say, let's actually make the node server now. So this is going to be the node server index.js. Node server 5. So I will just add that just in case any of you you want to know that. So this is going to be the server file. Just in case like you can follow along. It's gonna be on GitHub, I think. So just in case you want to know. So now I want to make a const io is equals to a require. I hope I'm spelling it correctly. And we want the module socket.io. So you can see it's gonna be popping up, and we need to like have it at a port. So we usually choose 8000 for this, so that's why I just chose 8000. Now I'll make another const of users, and it will just be like this list kind of thing. This will be storing all of the users and will keep track whether a user joins the chat, leaves the chat, posts a message, like whatever the user does in the chat app is going to be tracked by this users list that we have. And now we will make the server. So the server will handle the connections between the client, the front end. It will be the kind of the back end, you can say. So yeah, so I'll just dot io dot on. So io starts with socket dot io, and io dot on means when there is a when like this triggered. So this is like one of the, I would say, uh, commands. When the server is on, I want to call a function called connection, which we will be defining in the client side later on. And I want to call arrow function. So if you don't know what an arrow function is, it's basically we just type out an equal to and this less greater than sign. Then we just put these curly brackets, and then I just type out socket dot on. So a socket will be triggered. So socket is basically like a part of the server that will get the information that the client sends. So it's not always in the form of messages or text. Whenever you are creating a game, it will probably be the change of the coordinates, or the change of the color, or some game state change like the player killed him or something like that. Like it's not always in the form of a message. So I want to just call a function called new user join. So when a new user is joined, I want to get the name of the user obviously. So I will make an arrow function for that also. So well, we first want to give each and every of the user a name. Like, but for the computer, we don't want to give the user like a name in terms of the text. We don't want to give the computer some text for the name. The reason why I don't want to give the computer any name in the form of text is because let's just say there are two people in the same name. Let's just say test. So one guy joins the chat with the name of test. The other guy does not know that that person also joined the name as test. So the other guy also joins the name as test. And then if let's just say one of the tests get disconnected, then the server will get a bit confused because it won't know which test got disconnected. So what we do is for the computer, will give each of the people a unique ID. So the computer knows that, alright, so I don't care about the name. This ID has logged out, so I need to disconnect the socket from here. So what I will do is just check out the users, and I will give each of them a socket.id, which I don't know why that did not get typed. Probably need to get myself a new keyboard now. Users, it should be the same name of that, and we need to give them a socket.id, which I just explained to you, which should be equal to the name of the user. So for every name in this thing, we want to give them a socket.id. We hope I am explaining this well, and I please understand this the best way you can, because this is the entire meat of the entire charter. So now we just want to console.log the name. Uh, we will also broadcast it, but currently right now, let's just console.log it. I just feel later on we will obviously through the client side we will broadcast it, but right now we are just coding the server, so we can't broadcast it. So yeah, and then what we do is just step out socket dot rod broadcast.emit. So what this function does is it will be shown to everybody except the the guy who just joined the chat. So I think that's how I can explain it to you. We want to call the user join function, which we will obviously do all of this in the client side, and we want the name. So that's all for the new user join. Now we want like when a message is sent. So we want something like that. Just a second, guys. Alright. So what I'll do is just about socket.on, and this time it should be like something like send, I would say. And this will be carrying like the parameter arrow function of message. So we want to broadcast a socket dot broadcast dot emit, and we want to emit this function called receive, which we will obviously do it, and we want to put in the curly braces and just code an object of message, which will be message, and the name, which will be the users, and the socket.id. So this was a bit complicated. So this is just like an object that we create. So the message will be the message which the user will type out in that entry field kind of thing, and the name will be the unique socket ID. But just wait, we are not going to be getting that ID. We will get the name of the user. You will see how that happens also. So that's it for that one. And I don't know why I added a comma, or it should be a semicolon. Oh yeah, it should be a semicolon. And for now, let's just keep the server this much. We will be adding some more, little bit of more code to this, where we can disconnect from the server. But I feel like we will do that later on. So now let me actually close this command prompt window. And what I will do is I will go to the chat app tutorial. Then I will go to node server. Then I will just click over here and just type CMD. What that does, it will just open up this instance of the command prompt. Now what I want to do is I want to run the node server. So I'll just type on node more. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna code some of the client side, because you know what? No, let's just run the server ID. So node mon index.js. So that's the name. So your file should be index.js. Your file should have that name only. Do not keep any other name for your file. I just hit enter. And take a second or two. You should have this popping up. If you get it, that's good. Now, do this very carefully. What I'm doing is very important. Do not mess this thing up. Now, what you want to do is below your title, you want to make a script, but it will be a defer script. So, like it will load in once the DOM loads up. You want to give it a source, and now write this very carefully. http://localhost the port of 8000 slash socket.io slash socket.io.js, and we want to make another script tag. So script, again it will be a defo and a source of js slash client.js. Now you might be saying we do not have any script running on localhost. Well, we were running the index.js at the 8000 port. So that is what we are grabbing over here. So that's very important to not mess that up, or else your server and client just won't get connected. So your entire point of your chat app, well, it won't work. So that's just something you need to take care of. So make const socket. So now I just put some of these client side. So we want to link up the index.js over here also. So we just make a variable called socket to be an IO of HTTP :/ local host and a port of 8000. Alright, there we go. Now let's just get the form. So I'm just gonna go const form is equals to document dot get element by ID. So it will get me by that element by ID name. So the ID that was given to the element. So the name was send hyphen container, and I want another const which will be a message. So const basically stands for constant, so you cannot change this variable later on. So get or I forgot to type out document dot get element by ID. Alright, why doesn't that pop up? And we want message int, and we want const message container is equals to document dot query. This will be a query selector, very basic query selector, and it will be the dot container thing that we have. So dot container. Alright, what just happened? Dot container. There we go. So now let's just make it so like if the page tells the guy to enter his name. So const name is equals to a prompt. So the user will be given a prompt to enter his username. Enter your name. So that will be the prompt, and we want to call that function which will be like that user join. So let's go socket dot emit, and we want to emit new hyphen user hyphen joined comma the name of the user. Alright, so now what I want to do is when the user will join, so when socket dot on, so remember we are named that one user joined, so when there will be the user hyphen join taking place, we want to call the name function over here, and we want to append actually append, and we want to add this. Actually I don't want to append a file, I just want to append. Don't worry, we will be making a function called append up, and I want to just go $sign. Where is the $sign on the keyboard? Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Curly braces in the name joined chat, and I also want I want to be it on the right hand side, so just write. Let's actually code a function which will actually do this, because right now we are not actually like making any sort of a function that will actually handle such a thing, because like currently we do not have anything like that. So let's actually just code that from scratch first of all. So what I will do is I will go over here below the message container, we'll make a const append is equal to, we'll have the message and the position of the message. So the position will be by the right or by the left, because I just told, right, the messages that you send, like you want them to be the right, and the messages that you will receive should be on your left. So I look const message, oh my god, message element is equals to document dot, we want to make an element, so I want to create an element, and the element should be called a div. It should be a div. So message element dot actually not create inner text, so we want to use the text which will be equal to the message, and we want the message element to have a dot the class list dot add the message, and message element dot class list dot add the position of the message to by the right or by the left. Well, awesome. So one last thing we want to do is we just want to do message uh, container dot append. We want to append the message element. Why didn't that pop up? Alright, that's good. Let me just add semicolons over here. Make it look a bit neat. Alright, that's pretty good. So there we go. We have coded a good amount of client side. What I will do is I will go over here to my Java tutorial and just open up another instance of the index.html file. And let me actually do some things. So let me have a look over here. Alright, I'm just gonna stop this. So I'm just gonna terminate this process, and I'm just gonna time out another time. I'm just gonna start the server index.js. No, not that. I don't know why I typed out GA. Alright, let me stop this control C. Alright, index.js. Go over here and let me just go to my node server and open up the command prompt node mon index.js. Enter. Okay, I feel like it started. Let me have a look over here. Reload the page. Why isn't it showing me that prompt? Alright, there's an error. Uncaught reference required is not defined. Why is that an error? Client.js is equal to require const append file. I never typed that out. Why did that come? I don't know why that came, but I didn't want that. Reload the page. Yeah, there we go. So let's just join in as test and let's just reload the page and let's just join as OT. So if we go here, you can say it says test and OT. Yes, there we go. We got the server running and we can get joined and all of that cool stuff. So finally, that's working pretty nicely. And yes, obviously a lot of things is still remaining. Need to do some more things, but well, at least we have done some cool things. That's pretty good. Yeah. Alright, so we got the name thing working. We got the name popping up whenever we join. So that's very good. I feel very happy about this. So we are actually pretty kind of good. Alright, so let's make something that allows me to submit the thing that we type, so the form. So form dot add event listener, just add an event listener to the form so it will listen for the events, because remember we are added action of hashtag, so yeah, of submit. You can see it's popping up submit, and we'll be calling an arrow function. So e is arrow functions are very cool. So e dot prevent default. This is the basic JavaScript. So I will not be explaining one of I explained the server side. This is just very basic things. So yeah. So const a message. So the message will be the message input which we had well defined up top in the HTML. So the message input and the value of the message input. And I want to simply append it, and I want to say that you send the message. So I'll say you colon uh, dollar dollar the message, and why am I putting it over here? Dollar message, and it should be at that position. So colon and right. There we go. That's what we need. So we are working pretty well right now. Like a good amount of things is done. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now let's do one more thing where we can actually send it. So socket dot emit send the thing that remember we are made a send thing in the server that we had, and the message parameter remember we had also put that, and the message input dot value is equals to that. So that's all for sending things to and from. But right now it won't work because we haven't ever make anything which will be actually be triggered. So that's what we are gonna be now doing. So socket dot on. So when we will receive anything, so receive. I want to the data is equal to where so any data. So append just literally one of the literally the same things. Name joined the chat. So the person joined the chat, and I want to open it at the right side. That's what we do. Let me just reload the page. Test. You can see it says Cody joined the chat. Test joined the chat. Awesome. I don't want these messages to this big. Let me just go here. Message INP. I told you. Pixels. No, not that one. Message. Dot message. That's the height of this thing. Um, background color. That's the height. First, let's get a height of 15 pixels. Feel like that's good. Alright, test. Alright, you know what? I will do this later on. For now, let's just keep this. But at least we know it works. That's very cool. So obviously now the right now you can see we are sending things. It's getting appended, but the other person, the other guy will not be receiving anything. So we can see it says ZDF join the chat. Whatever we put, it's just gonna stay with us. So even if we type anything, it's just gonna stay with us. So that's something that it's not the best. So how do we like stop that? That's something pretty important because that's the point of the chat. So that is what we will be doing now, like all of that things. Don't worry about that. So now what we want to do is we want to do some more things that will allow us to do all of that things. So first let's just make one for disconnect. So socket on. So when there is a disconnect. So when somebody disconnects from the server, I want to just call a message, an arrow function, and it just when it does up things that we hit it till now. So socket.broadcast.emit this I just want to say left and users socket dot id. So the unique id left chat, and I also want to delete that guy because once anybody leaves the chat, we do not want to keep the that socket id in. So we just do that, and let me just head over here. It's restarting. That's going to get started. Now let's do it so we can actually what do you say, view that. That's something we want. Head over here. So socket dot on. So when that happens, I want to that function. So I don't know why I did this. This is actually a mistake that I did. Uh, I don't know why I did that. So this should actually be on the left. And I was just thinking why this was like deprecated. This should actually be the data dot name, and you will see something very cool once you do that. Like I was thinking that the message thing should have been working by now, but it wasn't. So why was that happening? Now you will now it will work. And let me actually show you something pretty cool, which I think you will be all very happy with. Reload the page. Hey, there we go. Awesome. We literally have a chat app ready right now. Obviously, we have some rough edges. We want to make it so we like have that disconnecting. So that's what we are going to be doing now. Let me just have a quick look at the recording. There we go. Let's do the disconnection. So when there's socket dot on, so when it's a left and the name arrow function, I would just want to do append. So the append function was pretty useful function that we made. The name as well left the chat. So left the chat. And I feel like I want it to be at the left. And would you look at that? Let me refresh the page. I'm just gonna go coding. And I'm just gonna run this as a test. Hey, so you can see it's HDF left the chat, test right the chat. What's up, man? I'm fine. And you can just chat and have fun. Awesome. So this is a pretty cool chat app that you have just made. I'm very happy with it, and you can see when I just inspect this page, it's very responsive in some ways. Let me actually show you. So when I go ahead and just go to something like iPhone 4, you can see it's not freaking out. The screen is not freaking out, which is what I really like. So this is the entire chat app. I'm just gonna add like now you can just style it to your needs. You can make it as customized as you want. So that's something very cool. You can customize it however you want. You can make it your personal chat app. You can make it like infinitely customizable, put in some new features, and just make it like a very cool, fully fledged chat application. Maybe you can make a main page where you can create chat groups. Now that's pretty complex and advanced, and I'm no JavaScript expert, so I personally I don't know how you can do that. But this is a pretty cool startup. Now let me actually show you a very cool thing that you can do in this startup with CSS. You can actually make like something like a little gradient background and just like you can do that. So I didn't want to do that. Control Z. Alright, oh my god, what just happened? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. No, no, no. Alright, I literally just messed up the CSS. Alright, I felt like I messed up something. So yeah, I'm just gonna add the body at the top. That's just some good practice that you want to add the body at the top. Nothing like too much. So background will be a linear hyphen gradient. It'll be a 120 DEG and RGB value. I'm just gonna go in RGB. I have this very cool color combinations of 250, 139, 250 RGB. 218, 217, 217, and literally then just white. Oh my god, I literally messed this up. Don't want anything. What am I doing? Control S, reload the page, low. Sometimes it's kind of that gradient background. Okay, we can just put in any name. So that's your chat app. I know, customize it however you want. I leave that to you. You can make it really awesome. It's just that I'm not much like this kind of guy. I made this, so that's a very cool little chat app. Now, I want you to do one more thing where you make a delete button. So that is not something too difficult to do. It's not that difficult actually. It's not that difficult in any means, because all you need to do literally is in this append kind of thing, you just want to remove that. So when you go to data name and data message and receive, we call the append function. So what you can literally just do is make another function called like remove message or whatever, and you just want to get the message and the position, and you just want to like use the div element and uh, just make it blank, remove everything from it. Like you can do something like, I'm not gonna code it, but like you can go const delete as like the message and the pause. As I told you, I'm not gonna be coding this. I'm actually doing it as a challenge. You can just do that. You can just go like const build is equals to like document dot like, you can just go like del e document dot element. You can get that, and you can like use that element ID. So that's something you can do. I'm not gonna do that as always. So that's the chat app. Hope you enjoyed this video. It was pretty long. I know it was like almost an hour long, but I feel like this was something like I know a lot of young programmers, like beginner programmers, wanna do like make the next WhatsApp. So obviously this is not even close to WhatsApp or WhatsApp web, but you know, as a individual, this is very cool. So I'd actually like I'd seen a tutorial on this and I coded with it. but then I fine tune it, add a bit of things. So yeah. So this is the entire thing. Uh, you can add WebKit animations to this. You can customize it. So pretty cool app. Not that hard by any means. And that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe. And until the next time we meet, bye bye.